and boom, that's
Boom.
it.
Sick. That's so
but
sweet.
but again, this comes from experience. Like if you,
Here
let's
we
go.
go. All right, everyone, welcome. Today we have Nathaneal on. Your story, Nathaneal, I really want to talk about it because I saw one of your story tweets like when you first got into it. So tell us like what your story is and how you got to where you are now.
Right. So I guess I'll start off with the how I got into online writing itself. So I've talked about it, like it's in my bio, how I was a night shifter. So I would work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. as a customer service representative. That's how I made money before. I was getting paid like 400 per month, $400 per month, which is not bad. I'm from the Philippines, so it's actually like not that bad. It was enough to get me by, but just like right in there. Um, then I was also a university student, and I was on my way to becoming a like I was paving the path that my mother paved before, which is like law. So I was about to be a lawyer. So that was like the path that I was taking. Traditional: go to school, go to college, get a job, sustain yourself, and um, get a high-paying job. But there was always something in me that like it just didn't want to be in a box. So I just always was looking for something more. Like comfortable was not part of my dictionary. I hated being comfortable. So December, you know, new year, like it's gonna be a new year, new me. So it's like, okay, let's do some self-improvement stuff. So I went to YouTube, looked for books, and I stumbled across Ali Abdal's video of like recommended books. And I saw he mentioned something about like if you want to create online, you should read The Art and Business of Online Writing by
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Cole. And I've always been fascinated by online writing, or by the creator economy. I still didn't know creator economy back then, but I've always been fascinated by YouTube, because like it's a big thing. I mean, all over the world, everyone knows who Mr. Beast is, PewDiePie before him, and I've always been a fan of those people, and I've always thought how these people look like they're just having fun, but they're making money. It's like it didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's this guy. So initially I thought, oh shit, you need to go to YouTube to make money online. But then here's this guy who's saying you can make money online through writing. I was a good writer. I was a decent writer. So I used to write all the time. I do journaling. So I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. I bought the book, finished in 3 days. It was really good. Highly recommend.
Super good
Um,
book.
Super good. And January, I was like, okay, take the path. I started writing in Quora. So I don't know if like I don't think a lot of people know it, but I actually started in Quora. Um, from January to like mid February, I wrote one answer in a Quora question, like just straight. So I did Nicholas. That's what Nicholas Cole did. So I did that, and I subscribed to the educational email course of Ship 3430. Start
Mm-hmm.
writing online. They were like, look, if you don't know, if you have content on one platform, you can actually post it everywhere. So if you post it in Quora, you can post it in Twitter, LinkedIn, Medium. So that's what I did. I subscribed to Twitter, just like I subscribed to Twitter Premium just so I could post a long form, because I don't know, I didn't have like anything to spend on at that time, and it was like what for like it's like $8 or something.
Yeah.
So I bought it. I wrote, and I just repurposed things, and then I forgot the exact date, but there was just one day where I went from 100 followers to like 600 followers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I went viral. So I was like in Twitter. And then I was like, what the hell? Like people love my stuff. So I was like, holy shit, abandoned ship and everywhere else. Like I still tried to do Quora, Medium, all those other places, but I just discovered that Twitter is a whole new place, because like the writing in Twitter is quite different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like the shorter you are, the better the writing is.
Yep.
So I started like focusing on Twitter, and then there was a point after like quite some time, again after 2 months from where I started, where I went from 600 to 1,000 like really quickly. So
Yeah.
in 2 months, or yeah, something like that, 2 months ish, I went from 100 followers, who are just my random friends and people I don't know, to 1,000. And like I've built a connection, actually. Like I've built quite some connections in there, and I just discovered like the Space Money Twitter space, and Dan Cole. and I saw that like you can make a shit ton of money in Twitter. Can I curse here or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I realized like you can make a shit ton of money in Twitter, and so I was like, damn, I gotta go in here. So I took a leave of absence from university because like I just decided to go all in, bought a bunch of courses, um, yeah, like 12,000 worth. I was kind of scammed. I didn't plan that. It was like I was in the sales call and people were like, "This is the price," and I was like, "I really want it, so yeah, let's do it." Like I kind of risked that, man. I risked a lot because I only had $5,000 in my bank account,
Oh shit.
so I didn't even know how I was gonna pay the excess ones. But like PGA, I joined PGA, and they promised, "Oh, you're gonna make 10,000 in 8 weeks." So I was like, 10,000 in 8 weeks. Then if I get that money, then I can pay them this amount of money at this
The
time.
8 grand, they can get that
Yeah, and then
later.
yeah, that makes sense. So if I do a plan, a 1,000 because it's $7,000, right? And then
Yep.
it's like you can make a plan where it's like just 1,000 for 7 months. I was like, if they say 2 months I make this amount of money, then it kind of makes sense that I buy it and just pay them with the money that I made. Cool. So I did it, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's like, it worked. But again, it's like it's not only PGA. I took other courses. I really just went dive in because all in because I noticed that PGA, although it's a great thing, it's like you can boost it more if you like get one-on-one coaching, if you like get other sources like we were talking about outside the recording, like Jack Moses, that
Mhm.
yeah, it wasn't easy. Like there were many times when I wanted to like I thought it was not worth it because it wasn't nothing was working, right? Like I was still in zero. I was even in negative because I wasn't earning anything. I would just bought a bunch of stuff. But eventually, which what's funny is that I got to close a client who was already in my network when I was just having fun, right? So in the initial stages of my Twitter creator economy journey, I
Mhm.
was just there to write. I wasn't even thinking of money, but I was making connections, and those connections like paid off because like my first client was a friend from that phase. So that was a long story, but that's me.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome. There's a couple things I picked out in there. So I kind of want to jump into the courses first. Like everyone buys all of these courses and then they're like, "Oh, well it didn't work." And so
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just not applying it. So what was like your framework for like fully applying it and just juicing it for everything that it was worth?
Right. Well, okay. Because this is how I don't know. This is how I think. I live by the motto, like this is my banner. It's like patient with success and but hasty with execution.
Mhm.
So the PGA thing is my biggest investment. I'm going to talk about it. It's like 7K, right? That they said that you should take the module one by one, right? Like one week, one module.
Mm, okay.
So there's modules in the course. So they said like, take your time, like make the most out of the module and execute it. Dude, I didn't do that. I like 1 week I did all of the modules. Like I consumed all of them, and I just, finished it immediately to already know what's missing, right? Because I like taking the time for me, taking the time I don't know. Just for me, I want to like already. I'm that guy. I'm that type of person who like goes all in so that I can learn what's wrong and then adjust so that I can adjust immediately, right? Because when I try to take my time and I begin overthinking, and
Mhm.
then I start like not executing at all. So I just like execute, iterate, execute.
Mhm.
So I think the biggest thing when it comes to courses, coaching, all of this is like once there's a call to action, or once there's like you already know the action that you're going to take, you like execute it immediately, so that you know what happened wrong if
Oh
it
yeah.
didn't work.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do immediately. Like, and if I don't have the answers, I'll talk to the course creator, I'll talk to the coach, I'll talk to everyone. Like, why didn't this work? I'll get feedback. So that's another thing. Like getting feedback is big for me. That's why I also like to post. Like if you see my feed, I post. I don't have a niche. Like I don't post about a specific topic. I talk about everything because I just put my ideas out there, and those that stick, is the ones that I kind of iterate on.
Oh, totally.
Some like try to post again. It's a idea from Dan Co too that
Mhm.
I got. So yeah, I think that's it's like just execution and feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Execution is big. Like the way that I read and like take courses is not for the faint of heart. Like when I got Dan Coe's 2 hour writer, I consumed the entire thing in one sitting. Like I did not get up
Yeah.
from my chair and I just sat there glued to my screen. Was like, we're gonna fucking do this. And then you like
Yeah.
iterate afterwards. And so like
Yeah.
even when I'm reading books, I sometimes don't even read them all the way through. I'll like get to the part that I needed and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
let's do
Yeah.
it.
Let's go. Do it. Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
I
totally.
love
And
that.
so like I think that's the biggest thing where like there's a couple people that I do like free consulting calls and they're like they'll tell me, "Oh, well I'm reading this book front to back." And I'm like, "Why?" The answer is in chapter 2. Like you don't need to read the whole
Yeah.
damn thing. And I think that's like a big discrepancy between like successful people and not successful people to make it broad.
Mm.
But going off of the posting, your old strategy was like platitude in the AM and then a tip and then a long form. What's your
Yeah.
like current strategy to like make sticky posts and make posts that you can reiterate on?
Right. So actually, like those I still kind of keep that. I
Mhm.
still kind of keep the platitude and then tip and long form or thread.
Mhm.
But so what I do is like that's the platitude is where I test it. So the platitude is the idea testing stage.
Sweet.
So when I post a platitude, it normally pops off. If it doesn't, that means that like either I did the execution wrong, I wrote it wrong,
Mhm.
or like the idea isn't really good.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so this is the idea is that everything is really connected. So like even a platitude, you can take it and apply it in business, in writing, in spirituality and everything, right? So when a platitude like pops off, I try to understand, okay, how am I going to apply this to my business, to ghostwriting?
Yeah.
How am I going to apply this to like, my ICP are like coaches and agency owners. So I'm going to apply this like when I say something like what is my what's my most recent platitude? Um like right, the answer isn't in the internet, it's in you, something like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. That was what you're. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so maybe like if I decide to take that, I'd probably actually even flip it. I'd probably even say something like, you are the niche, you are the niche is the biggest lie in creator economy, because you actually want to sell yourself and not just sell to yourself. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Yep. Totally.
Because when you say you are the niche, like the problem with that quote by Dan Coe is that people start thinking, oh, I just need to write for myself. It's like, no. I mean, you can do that in your journal. You can do that in your journal, right? But no one will care if you just write about what you want. Like you want to write about what you want for other people in a
Totally.
way. Right. So yeah, so it's something like that. Like that's how my brain works. Like I take an idea and then I apply it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so getting into your writing routine a little bit more, I kind of do. I took Kieran Drew's high impact writing recently,
Mm,
and like the way he does it is also similar, where it's like you post the small platitude, and then you ask yourself. I think he has like 10 questions about like what else can relate to this and like other things, and you go
mm,
back through it. How do you
yeah.
do you just like come up with platitudes and that's where you start, or not in regards to starting, but the way that he does it is he's like, I only write platitudes on Monday. I only write tweets on Tuesday. I only write threads
Right.
on Wednesday. Do you do that, or is there another way that you go
No.
about your writing routine?
No. I write platitudes every day.
Okay.
Like, so this is crazy because it's like I, it's not really for just getting views. So my
Mhm.
morning routine is like I work out and then I meditate. And during that meditation, I normally like, it's like God sends me like a message from the God sends me a message from the universe, and like something will pop in my head that I will like, okay, catch that thought, put it at the back, and then we'll remember that later. And then like I'll continue meditating, and then when it's done, I journal a little bit, and then I remember what I thought, the things that I thought, and I'll look for something that I'm going to post as a platitude. So because sometimes my platitudes are one-liners, two-liners, three-liners. It doesn't really matter, but it's my definition of a platitude is like it applies to everyone.
Right.
So if you're a business owner, if you're a writer, if you're just a guy scrolling through the feed, if you relate to that, no matter what, that's a platitude for me.
Mhm.
So that's how I operate. So the platitude, that's my first one, and then the next my next post. So I normally post 3 times a day, but I add sometimes. My next post would be like a writing tip. Um, I don't really know how to like explain how I think it, but some because I also have a community.
Mhm.
So I take what I teach to my community, like my group chat, and then I just put it on public, basically,
Yeah.
right? And then in the end, my my um my last post, which is like the most authority building thing, is I wrote this in my EEC. It's like I figured out first the fears, irritations, needs, and desires of my ICP,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just been in the back of my mind, and I can kind of already think of, okay, what am I gonna post today for my ICP? Sometimes when I sometimes because I'm a ghostwriter, right? Sometimes when I have like a specific prospect that I want to like close, I talk about his brand. So like I post something that you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing this, or something like that. So it's more like I'm already talking to that person directly, so
Right.
that he would already like sign me, or I can already sign him. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
I think that just like shows you how uncomplicated ICP is. Like,
Yeah.
there's all of this ICP advice everywhere, and so I'm curious to hear what like your takes are on ICP, because I know when I first started, it was like you have to do all these things, you have to figure out 10 people that you want to sell to, and then some people are like the rule of one. And so like, how did you form your ICP? What did that look like for you?
So in the beginning, my ICP was personal branding coaches. Just
Okay.
this is based on PGA, because they said like what do you have experience on, and I'm like, what, like am I going to write for university students? Like I don't know. I don't know, like so I was like, well, I'm in the creator economy, and I most of the people here are personal branding coaches or coaches, so might as well, right? So I did the I actually did the table still. Um so basically it's like fears is the deeply rooted insecurities that they have.
Okay.
So an example of a fear is like, I'm not good enough. Um it's like, I will never, like I can't sign clients, or the market's too saturated, or I don't know what else. There are too many players. There's like the big players are just getting them all, something like that. So it's deeply insecure, deeply rooted in fears. And then irritations is basically what hinders them to their goals. So for example, their goal is like to sign I don't know, 5 clients. The irritation is like, no one's checking my DMs, right? So it's more like future centered. The opposite of fears is needs. So basically like we just
Flip it.
do the opposite of the
Okay.
fears. So it's like, for example, the fears market's too saturated, where, well, what do they need? They need to stand out. They fear that they're not good enough. So what do they need? They need to be good enough, right? And then the desires is basically the opposite of irritations. But yeah, when I laid that out, like the fears, irritations, needs, and desires, I just realized that it's not just for personal branding coaches. It's just basically for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just realized that I was basically laying out the table for the creator economy. Now, like that sounds like kind of cocky, because it's like, well, I'm the messiah. I know everything about the creator. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I did find out like the general pain points of business owners, which is basically like everyone in the creator economy. So I guess my ICP now, really what I would say the ICP is just look for someone you think will benefit most from your product,
Mhm.
and talk to them.
Yep.
Like look at their struggles and post about it.
Mhm.
Now, that's a more direct way. I just
Yeah.
realized that I blabbered when I could have said that easily.
No, I think it was still useful, because like I put off for so long answering those hard questions, but it's like just the idea of like you don't know versus, oh, this isn't that complicated. We're all rooted in the same fears. We all want the same fucking
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. For
And,
sure.
yeah, so putting that off, and then kind of hopping back up to where you mentioned connection in your journey. You're obviously a very connected person, because you're able to get these huge, like hard creators to talk to, and literally you just got to be an idiot and comment under the post. But
Yeah.
that's I want to hear your take on how you're doing it, because the way I'm doing it, I feel like is just like very Aaron Will. I don't know if you know who Aaron Will is. Love
Yeah.
that man.
Aaron Will is in my podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I love him. Like I got all of my commenting strategies from him. Like I remember the first time I was catcalling someone in their post, and they loved it. And I'm like, oh, this is so easy. I can just be myself and be an absolute nerd. Like,
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how like you've connected with these big podcast or big creators and stuff like that.
Honestly, that's also the thing. Like Aaron Will, like if you person who's watching this, if you're not following Aaron Will and you're not commenting on his stuff, you're missing out on so much, because
Mhm.
he's going to reply to you, like to all your comments, and you're not gonna be able to DM him because I can imagine like his DMs is filled, and even like me, I DM him, he replies sometimes, but not all the time, and but he's going to reply to your comments. So like honestly, just be like try. I think Aaron Will is like the best place to practice commenting because like you can comment anything and he'll accept it. And then I just realized too that Dakota is the same thing.
Yep.
I think it's just like a matter of testing the waters because there are some creators who like kind of when you act like an idiot too much, they also they kind of like don't like it.
Yep.
But Dakota and Aaron Will, the reason why I got them on my podcast is because they have that vibe, right? But just going back, like how I was able to invite them was, well, one, again, I connected to them and like I saw that their vibe was cool, and because I could be an idiot in their comments, I would just spam their comments. Yo, can I get a follow? Yo, can you hop on my podcast? Yo, can you do this? And if they don't respond, I mean, I formed a vibe with them. They don't respond, maybe they just missed it, or maybe like it's fine, you know, like I'll still comment on their stuff. But if you miss the shots you never take, right? So
100%.
yeah, it worked.
Yeah, no, literally, it worked. When I saw you bring on some of these guests, I was like, what? Huh? And it's like, oh, well, I haven't asked, so obviously they're not gonna come knocking on my door, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like getting you on here. I told someone that I was gonna have you on. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I just asked. Flirted a little bit, and then you ask.
yeah, for sure. I remember this. Do you know Bree?
Yeah.
Bree writes things.
Yes.
This is what I learned from her. Like her cold DM, which I will like feature someday soon. She was the best cold DM that I ever got because she's like, forgot what she said. She just said something silly about my post, the Danco method, you know, like taking a tweet and then like you forward it. She did that, but in a silly way, and I I messaged her, you're now my new best friend, you should put that in your bio, and then she actually did, and now we're like best friends or something. Like we just became best friends. So yeah, just really, I don't know, that's my take. Maybe some people will be like, oh, you know, you add value, but
oh my god, I hate that. Which I saw your post the other day about like want value, give value. Tell me about what that is to you, because everyone is screaming give value, and then they just repeat the post in the comments, and I'm like, that's not valuable. Right. So like, what is your take on value?
Right. So that's my post today, and I did post something about like add value to your comments. Like, what does that even mean, right? It's like you're just regurgitating. Right. Like when I hear that, you say you regurgitate what the guy said. That's what I hear.
Yep.
And I do think you should just try to be funny, or like try to start a conversation with a guy when you're commenting. But when I posted the add value or give value, it's because this is with the people who are like, you know, I'm an advocate for posting platitudes if you want to, but if you just post platitudes, then like what is your account really about? Right. That's my perspective there, because Aaron Will talks about this too, where you know you have to have that split where it's like value and personality. But most people just give like personality or like generic stuff, and they never have a business, right? Because no one, like, who wants to talk to someone who just says drink water and exercise and get sunlight? Like, it's like we already have Andrew Huberman, you know, we don't need another guy. But yeah, but in the same way, as you mentioned, you also don't want just someone giving out like how-tos, right? And this is where I think the how I comes in, because it's both value and personality. And that's what I think is the best way to give value. I'm really proud of my Matthew McConaughey thread, so that I'm going to cite that. So in my Matthew McConaughey thread, you will see like I talk about a lesson by Matthew McConaughey, but right after that I talk about how I applied it in my life, right? And like also my pinned tweet, I'm just plugging myself now, I'm a narcissist, so I'm a proud narcissist. And what's this? Alex Hormozy, I talk about him, but every tweet there is about my business and how he helped me. It's not just Alex Hormozy did so many cool stuff and he built this business and he did gyms and then he became a businessman. Like everyone knows that already, you know? Like no one will care about that at this point. Or maybe some people will, but you'll just be another Google. But when you say you introduce yourself. So yeah, that's my take on that.
No, I think that's perfect. It's the idea of like borrowing authority, but still making yourself part of the authority piece. Because I don't know who mentioned it, but like when you associate yourself with people who have or who are better than you and who are good at
Yeah.
another skill, someone else thinks like, oh, so you're also good at this. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
but you think that.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, but that's super awesome. And so, kind of bouncing out of that, in your episode with Dakota, you mentioned your mission and everything like that. And so, where do you see yourself incorporating your mission, and how do you plan to pivot towards the helping people and things along that nature in the future?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Um, so right now I'm a ghostwriter,
Hmm.
and I'm taking Dakota's advice there, where he said like just stay ghostwriting for at least 1 year, because I do see that I have a lot of weaknesses yet, still, and I want to like go to a point where I know I'm confident that I will sign a client just by DMing them. Like when I DM someone, I want to work with you. Like they'll say yes, they'll actually like be honored to be my client. When I get to that point, because that's like Dakota level point, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
if Dakota messages me right now, be like, I'll ghostwrite for you. I'll be like, I'll get my money. You know what I mean?
Where's it at?
But joking aside, I want to get to that point where it's like when I pitch to someone or when I reach out to someone, it'll be like they're honored that they're gonna work with me, rather than I'm just a lowly freelancer looking to, get some side money,
Right.
right?
Right.
Now, when I can do that and I can teach the exact same methods that I have to someone, that's when I'm pretty sure that okay, I'll offer my coaching. And right now I'm trying to build myself first, because again, like I can't just help people without really helping myself, because that will be like just stupid,
Mhm.
suicidal, right? So right now I'm still building that, and then it's going to be like coaching one-on-one, which is a bit more high ticket, and then I will plan like it will be one to many, so a cohort. So it's be coaching cohort, and then I'm gonna sell a course that doesn't need me anymore. It's just a course, and then I'm gonna write a book. So it just goes from there,
Mhm.
and that's the business side of it. But my mission really is because I'm from the Philippines, and like we're a third world country, and like I want more Filipinos to go into the creator economy. But the problem with that is some Filipinos are not good at English. Most Filipinos are not good at English,
Mhm.
and some who are good are not confident enough. And so that's what my advocacy too in the future, when I have succeeded in terms of the business side,
Mhm.
in the creator economy, I want to have like a public school where everything's free. They even have like food and stuff, where everyone can learn English and then learn how to like use computers. Like I think that those are the two things that they need, just like communication and technology.
Mhm.
If they can learn that, I think that they'll be able to participate in the creator economy, make money for themselves too, and buy my stuff. So it's like portfolio.
Yeah. And eventually, when they start
And
making money, it won't be
yeah,
so
when they
public anymore. No,
so yeah,
that's super genuine. I absolutely love that. I have another like very similar with like I want to build like my own school and do all of that kind of stuff very public, just because education should be of access to literally everyone, and the fact that
yeah,
it's not is just so heartbreaking to me.
for sure.
Yeah,
That's
I love
that's
that. That is amazing. And so as you get to that, what is like so you're gonna do ghostwriting for a year, right?
hmm
And you keep
Yeah,
mentioning like your weaknesses and things like that. And so you're obviously very self-aware. So what does it look
yeah,
like for you in order to keep yourself aware and not let like the wins and everything get in the way of that?
right. To keep myself aware, I don't know, like life slaps you in the face when you're all overconfident. It's
Right.
like it just happens, like you feel like you're the king of the hill, like you're the king of the world, and then life slaps you because you realize, oh, the client didn't retain, or you didn't get to upsell, or like you didn't fulfill. Now
Mhm.
I'm not saying I did all that, like I'm not saying I did all that, but that happens to creators, right?
Mhm.
And when that happens, you realize, oh crap, I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Right.
So what I learned, I mentioned this in the podcast with Dakota, is that I realize I'm not that good in sales,
Yeah.
because I've been in like some sales calls, and I tried to get the frame and all that. Like I know what to do, right? I've read books and courses, and I realized that those aren't enough. I need more practice. So I hired a sales coach, and yeah, I'm working on that. And I think it's also just a matter of being a full stack creator, just borrowing a term from Dakota, because you can learn like the meta skills, like writing and sales. What he said, writing, sales, marketing, and AI.
Mhm.
But when you really go to a guy who's an expert in AI, a copywriter expert, a marketing expert, a sales expert, when you like really work within those with those people specifically, your specialty just like like it just goes through the roof. So yeah, I think people being humble, understanding that you have a lot to work on, and always going back to the basics, yeah, helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And so regarding hiring a sales coach, I have to ask, is it Larry?
What?
Is it Larry?
No, it's not
No.
Larry. No, it's not Larry.
Oh,
No, it's not Larry.
that's fair. I love Larry's stuff. He's freaking goat.
No, no, it's not Larry. My sales coach is Corey. Have you
Oh,
heard of
Corey's a
Corey?
goat too. Corey's
Yeah,
he's good.
Woody Sales. He's my sales coach.
That's sick.
I've been like he was on my podcast. He's cool, man. Like when I met him in the podcast, like man, this guy is a G. I was like,
That's super
so,
awesome.
So yeah, he's just really good. I can't say anything. Oh, we will have a space soon, so keep.
Oh, sweet. I'll stay tuned for that. That's super awesome. Is that on his spaces or yours?
Mine.
Yours?
Mine.
You're also doing spaces? What are you, a psycho? Jesus.
Dude. Bro, dude, I was in the space with Arnie, and then he introduced me. He was like, "Oh, welcome, Nathaneal." So to anyone who doesn't know Nathaneal, he's like a guy who, like a singer, a podcaster, and something else. And then, but he also happens to do copywriting on the side. So definitely hit him up. I'm like, so I'm like, I just happen to be a ghostwriter. I just happen to be. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a whole bunch of different things, which is sick. I think it's how it's supposed to be, though. Like the idea of don't like pigeonhole yourself. Don't shove your head somewhere and just keep it there. Have fun.
Yeah, it's more fun too, right? Like you just do whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm gonna ask kind of we have 4 minutes left, but if you have free time, we can go longer.
Dude, I don't have anything else going
on. Sweet. Careful, I'll keep you here all day. My a question I like to ask is, if there was one question I could have asked you, what would the question be, and how would you ask it? It's one of my favorite questions.
What? Can you repeat this is, dude, why did I think of this question?
It's so much fun because then it gives someone like the full like force to talk about what they want. If there was one question I could have asked you, what would the question be, and how would you answer?
Okay. Dude, it's it's a mind-boggling question. Okay, what question? Holy crap. I feel like you actually touched on a lot of the things that I do like about myself, and that comes from a narcissist already. So, but I can come up with a lot of things like, how did I get this beautiful hair? And
I thought about that. Oh my God. That is right here. If I could share my screen, literally like the bottom one is like, if you're feeling cheesy, how did you get such glossy hair? I need to know.
Yeah. And I would answer it. Like, if you ask me that question, I'd say, to be honest, I feel like it's because I had a screwed up. I don't know if this makes sense, but because I did kind of butcher my hair when I was like teenage. In my teenage years. So it's like I put like the the wax thing, like what do you call it? Like gel.
Okay.
Yeah. So I put those things on, and like I don't know, like I just didn't care about it. I didn't care about my hair. And then it kind of got ruined actually. And then when I started taking care of it, it just became beautiful. Like when I started like putting conditioner and all that, I feel like it was like a muscle where you kind of like break it down. And then when you started like eating and like nourishing it, it became like, oh, it was so thirsty that it absorbed all the conditioner and all the nutrients from the shampoo and all. So yeah.
Hell yeah. That's so perfect.
Yeah. That's my question.
I love that. The hair. That's like the perfect one.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'll ask you a little side question. You've written what, 3 published email courses on your page alone. I know I mentioned I saw a post where you plan it out on paper. What does your planning process look like for big projects like that?
Right. Big projects. Let's see. So let's just talk about the email course. I'm actually already making another one. I'm gonna launch.
The fuck?
I'm making another one, and I'm gonna launch probably like in 2 weeks or a week. I'm
Okay.
still looking at it. I'm already writing it. So the right now I'm writing something about like outreach and making
Okay.
friends, because like I'm realizing that, dude, I do know how to like talk to people, make friends, all this stuff. So I'm like, that'd be an interesting thing to write about, make
Mhm.
a giveaway about. So I would just like, I actually start with the title. So I don't
Okay.
think, because I really want to like get the idea of what I'm writing about.
Okay.
So for example, let's just take the example of my most recent one, like the 12.5K one.
Mhm.
So like, who am I writing for? Well, it's going to be a lead magnet, right? So I'm
Mhm.
writing for business owners, for agency owners and coaches. Okay, then what do agency owners and coaches want? They want money. They want sales. So how am I going to teach them to get money using my system? Well, I made money using my system, so just write the exact same system I have to teach them how to get money.
Mhm.
Right?
Right. Right.
So I was like, okay, land high ticket or land 10K plus clients. Want to make money, or something like, want to land high ticket clients or something like that. And
Mhm.
then I would say 3 benefits. So after I talk about like what they want, I would talk about the 3 benefits. And I totally forgot what the benefits were, but I'm totally not looking at it right now. So I talk about, follow this 5-step plan that will make your business stand out, because we talked about like that's what they need, right? We
Mhm.
talked about that earlier. Have prospects knocking on your door, because that's my specialty. I'm a marketing guy. I'm not a sales guy like a door-to-door salesman who goes from door to door. I want to attract people and make 6 figures, because that's what you do when you get 10K clients, right? Like
Mhm.
10K is 12, so 120K. So yeah,
Quick maths.
those 3 benefits. And do I just write the outline? So like the exact same thing, what I already think about, like what I already do, just write about it. So that's a good one day. I would do that for one day, just the outlining and the naming.
Mhm.
And then for the next 5 days, I would write the email. So per day, I would write 1 email.
Yeah. Super
Right?
easy.
Yeah, yeah.
In
And
theory.
then so like that's 6.
Uh-huh.
And then so I normally launch my, like, this is a tip. The best time to launch a giveaway or a project is Wednesday in Twitter, because when you when you launch on Wednesday, so the reason why it's Wednesday is the best is because you want to post like teasers for Monday and Tuesday,
Mhm.
right? Monday, Tuesday, you put teasers. You launch on Wednesday, and your post is going to be up until Thursday and Friday. If you launch your your basically, like, no one uses social media in Saturday and Sunday. So if you put any of those 5 days in a weekend, you're losing like some engagement there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
sick.
then now that I have my EEC, right, I take a break for one day, because like, I go pray to God and thank him for the blessing that he's given me and for the knowledge that I put into this EEC. And then I go back to work, and then I would input it to ConvertKit. So
Mhm.
basically, like all the logistics at this point, ConvertKit, landing page, and testing if it works. Now, once that's all done, that's Monday already, right? I will start posting teasers, launch it on Wednesday, and boom, that's
Boom.
it.
Sick. That's so
but then,
sweet.
but again, this comes from experience. Like, if you like, normally in my first email course took longer because I still didn't have like an idea of what I was gonna do.
Mhm.
The ideation part is like the longest part. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sweet though. That's a really solid, like, actionable piece of advice. That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
sweet. I think that's the podcast, folks. That's all, folks. That's all I got.
Cool, cool, cool.
But thank
But
you
yeah,
again for coming on. It's super awesome. I had a great time. But
yeah, I had a great time too. It was fun.
we got to know the secret behind the hair. That's all that matters.
Yeah, dude. I mean, your hair is quite nice too.
Oh, thank you. I shaved it all off.
Oh,
It's
you did?
regrowth. Yeah. So I I was never allowed to cut my hair short as a kid. I always had hair
Okay.
down to like my butt. I had really, really long hair all the time. And it was always up in a bun because it's so much to take care of and it gets so heavy and it's so much. And I graduated high school. I moved out of the house and then I did the first chop, which was to here. And then I finally was just like,
Screw this.
screw it. And I was like, I want to be
Screw-
able to say I've had a shaved head. So yeah, I shaved it. And this is like 4 months of growth. I just got another haircut, shaved the sides of it.
Damn. Are you
Yeah.
like planning to keep this hairstyle or?
No, I think I'm gonna grow it back out. I do miss my long hair. Okay, I am a gay woman. Don't censor this, YouTube, please. I am, and like I am open about it, but like I don't like being mistaken for a boy because I'm not. Like I'm a woman. I'm a female
Okay.
through and through. That's just, and so like when people come up to me in public, they'll be like, "Sir." I mean, I'm like,
Oh,
no.
what?
I'm like, sorry, wrong person. And like I don't answer it. And so I work in customer service and I'll be like turned around doing something. Everyone's like, sir, sir, sir. And I don't fucking answer to sir. Like I'm a woman. I'm ma'am. I'll answer to it. But so like I'll turn around, they'll be like, why are you ignoring me? And I'm like, because I'm not a sir. So like I do miss the more feminine portion of like having long hair and the
Right.
what came with it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna grow it out, but who knows? Maybe I'll shave it
Cool.
again.
But I just want to say though, like you look sexy as a man or a woman.
Much love.
If you were a man or you're a woman.
That's all.